Good morning, students. Welcome to 12th standard physics class. Today topic is dielectrics or insulators. Unit 1. A dielectric is a non-conducting material and has no free electrons. The electrons in a dielectric are bound within the atoms. For example, ebonite, glass and mica. When an external electric field is applied, the electrons are not free to move anywhere, but they are realigned in a specific way. A dielectric is made up of either polar molecules or non-polar molecules. Non-polar molecules. A non-polar molecule is one in which centers of positive and negative charges coincide. As a result, it has no permanent dipole moment. Examples of non-polar molecules are hydrogen, oxygen, carbon dioxide, nitrogen, etc. When an external electric field is applied, the centers of positive and negative charges are separated by a small distance, which induces dipole moment in the direction of the external electric field. Then the electric field is to be polarized by an external electric field. Extra electric field apply பண்ணும் பொழுது the electric field positive negative charges are separated. This is dipole moment. Polar molecules. In polar molecules, the centers of the positive and negative charges are separated even in the absence of an external electric field. They have a permanent dipole moment. Example of polar molecules are H2O, HCl, NH3, N2O. Dipole moment is 0. Next, when an external electric field is applied, the dipoles inside the polar molecule tend to align in the direction of the electric field. Hence, a net dipole moment is induced in it. Then that dielectric is said to be polarized by an external electric field. In the presence of an external electric field, the dipole moment is induced in the dielectric material. Polarization P vector is defined as the total dipole moment per unit volume of the dielectric. The next, induced electric field inside the electric. Okay. When an external electric field is applied on a conductor, the charges are aligned in such a way that an internal electric field is created, which cancels the external electric field. But in the case of electric which has no free electrons, the external electric field only realigns the changes so that an internal electric field is produced. Dielectric strength. When the external electric field applied to a dielectric is very large, it tears the atoms apart so that the bound charges become free electrons. Then the electric starts to conduct electricity. This is called dielectric breakdown. Next, capacitor. Capacitor is a device used to store electric charge and electrical energy. It consists of two conducting objects, usually plates or sheet, anyone, separated by some distance. Capacitors are widely used in many electronic circuits and have applications in many areas of science and technology. The capacitance C of a capacitor is defined as the ratio of the magnitude of charge on either of the conductor plates to the potential difference existing between the conductors. So capacitor is equal to Q by V. These are various types of capacitors. The SI unit of capacitance is coulomb per volt or farad in honor of Michael Faraday. Farad is very large unit of capacitance. Nowadays, there are capacitors available in various shapes, cylindrical, disc and types, tantalum, ceramic and electrolytic. These capacitors are extensively used in various kinds of electronic circuits. A simple capacitor consists of two parallel metal plates separated by a small distance. When a capacitor is connected to a battery of potential difference V, the electrons are transferred from one plate to the other plate by battery, so that one plate becomes negatively charged with a charge of minus Q and the other plate positively charged with plus Q. The potential difference between the plates is equivalent to the battery's terminal voltage. In general, the charge stored in the capacitor is proportional to the potential difference between the plates. So, Q directly proportional to V. So, that Q is equal to CV, where the C is the proportionality constant called capacitance. Next, energy stored in the capacitor. Capacitor not only stores the charge, but also it stores energy. When a battery is connected to the capacitor, electrons of total charge minus Q are transferred from one plate to the other plate. To transfer the charge, work is done by the battery. This work done is stored as electrostatic potential energy in the capacitor. To transfer a small charge dq for a potential difference V, the work done is given by dW is equal to V dq. The total work done to charge a capacitor is W is equal to integral of 0 to Q by C dq is equal to Q squared by 2C. This work done is stored as electrostatic potential energy UE in the capacitor. So, UE is equal to Q squared by 2C is equal to 1 by 2 CV squared. Here Q is equal to CV, where Q is equal to CV is used. The stored energy is thus directly proportional to the capacitance of the capacitor and the square of the voltage between the plates of the capacitor. But where is this energy stored in the capacitor? Rewritten as follows using the results. C is equal to epsilon naught A by D and V is equal to E D. E is equal to E is equal to 1 by 2 epsilon naught A by D to E D squared is equal to of epsilon naught A D into E squared, where AD is equal to volume of the space between the capacitor plates. The energy stored per unit volume of space is defined as energy density. So, energy density UE is equal to U by volume. Here V is equal to ED. So, W is equal to CV by 2. So, the last UE is equal to of epsilon naught E squared. Applications of capacitors. Capacitors are used in various electronic circuits. First one, most people are now familiar with the digital camera. The flash which comes from the camera when we take photographs is due to the energy released from the capacitor, called a flash capacitor. Next, during cardiac arrest, a device called heart defibrillator is used to give a sudden surge of a large amount of electrical energy to the patient's chest to retrieve the normal heart function. Next, capacitors are used in the ignition system of automobile engines to eliminate sparking. Capacitors are used to reduce power fluctuations in power supplies and to increase the efficiency of power transmission. Next, effect of electrics in capacitor. The dielectric can be inserted into the plates in two different ways. First one, when the capacitor is disconnected from the battery. Consider a capacitor with two parallel plates, each of cross-sectional area A and are separated by a distance D. The capacitor is charged by the battery of voltage V0 and the charge stored is Q0. The capacitance of the capacitor without the dielectric is C0 is equal to Q0 by V0. The battery is then disconnected from the capacitor and the dielectric is inserted between the plates. The introduction of dielectric between the plates will decrease the electric field. Experimentally, it is found that the modified electric field is given by E is equal to capital E naught by epsilon R. Here epsilon E naught is the electric field inside the capacitors. When the battery remains connected to the capacitor. Let us now consider what happens when the battery of voltage V0 remains connected to the capacitor when the electric is inserted into the capacitor. The potential difference V0 across the plates remains constant, but it is found experimentally that when dielectric is inserted, the charge stored in the capacitor is increased by a factor epsilon R. So Q is equal to epsilon R Q0. Due to this increased charge, the capacitance is also increased. The new capacitance is C is equal to Q by V0 is equal to epsilon R Q0 by V0 is equal to epsilon R C0. The next topic, capacitors in series. Consider three capacitors of capacitance C1, C2, C3 connected in series with a battery of voltage V. As soon as the battery is connected to the capacitors in series, the electrons of charge Q are transferred from negative terminal, so negative Q, to the right plate of C3, which pushes the electrons of same amount minus Q from left plate of C3. The right plate of voltage across each capacitor must be equal to the voltage of the battery. So V is equal to V1 plus V2 plus V3. The potential difference across each capacitor is V1 is equal to Q by C1, V2 is equal to Q by C2, V3 is equal to Q by C3. Here Q is equal to CV. V is equal to Q by C1 plus Q2 by C2 plus Q3 by C2. So, the commonly Q take out 1 by C1 plus 1 by C2 plus 1 by C3. So, by this process, each capacitor stores the same amount of charge Q. The capacitor of the capacitors are in general different, so that the voltage across each capacitor is also different and are denoted as V1, V2 and V3. So V is equal to Q by C1. But Q by C, yes, series is equal to Q by C1 plus Q by C2 plus Q by C3. So 1 by C, yes, series is equal to 1 by C1, 1 plus 1 by C2 plus 1 by C3. When a number of capacitors are connected in series, the reciprocal of the effective capacitance is equal to the sum of reciprocal of the capacitance of the individual capacitors. Next, capacitors in parallel. Consider three capacitors of capacitance C1, C2 and C3 connected in parallel with a battery of voltage. V is shown in the figure. Since corresponding sides of the capacitors are connected to the same positive and negative terminals of the battery, the voltage across each capacitor is equal to the battery's voltage. So, the charge on the three capacitors are Q1 is equal to C1V, Q2 is equal to C2V, Q3 is equal to C3V. So, let us charge store Q1, Q2, Q3. So the total charge in the system of capacitors Q is equal to Q1 plus Q2 plus Q3. So Q is equal to C1V plus C2V plus C3V. If these three capacitors are considered to form single capacitance CP, so CP is equal to VV into C1 plus C2 plus C3. So VV common, so cancelled. So CP is equal to C1 plus C2 plus C3. The equivalent capacitance of the capacitors connected in parallel is equal to the sum of the individual capacitance. Hence, the effective capacitance of the capacitors connected in parallel is the sum of the capacitance of the individual capacitors. That's all. Distribution of charges in a conductor. Consider two conducting spheres A and B of radii R1 and R2. Radii means plural. It's connected to each other by thin conducting wire. The distance between the sphere is much greater than the radii of either spheres. If a charge Q is introduced into any one of the spheres, this charge Q is redistributed into both the spheres such that the electrostatic potential is the same in both the spheres. So Q is equal to Q1 plus Q2. Q1, Q2 are the charges. The electrostatic potential at the surface of the sphere A is given by VA is equal to 1 by 4 by epsilon naught Q1 by R1. The electrostatic potential at the surface of the sphere B is given by VB is equal to 1 by 4 by epsilon naught Q2 by R2. The surface of the conductor is an equipotential. So VA is equal to VB, or Q1 by R1 is equal to Q2 by R2. Q2 is equal to 4 pi r squared sigma 2. Substituting these values into equation, sigma 1 R1 is equal to sigma 2 R2. So from which we concluded that sigma R is equal to constant. The next action at points are corona discharge. Consider a charged conductor of irregular shape. We know that smaller the radius of curvature, the larger is the charge density. The end of the conductor which has larger curvature has a large charge accumulation. As a result, the electric field near the edge is very high and it ionizes the surrounding air. The positive ions are repelled at the sharp edge and negative ions are attracted towards the sharper edge. This reduces the total charge of the conductor near the sharp edge. This is called action at points or corona discharge. The next, lightning arrestor or lightning conductor. This is a device used to protect tall building from lightning strikes. It works on the principle of action at points or corona discharge. This device consists of a long, thick copper rod passing from top of the building to the ground. The upper end of the rod has a sharp spike or a sharp needle. The lower end of the rod is connected to the copper plate, which is buried deep into the ground. When a negatively charged cloud is passing above the building, it induces a positive charge on the spike. Since the induced charge density on thin sharp spike is large, it results in a corona discharge. This positive charge ionizes the surroundings air, which is turn neutralizes the negative charge in the cloud. So the negative charge pushed to the spikes passes through the copper rod and is safely diverted to the earth. So the lightning arrestor does not stop the lightning. Rather, it diverts the lightning to the ground safely. The last topic is Van de Graaff generator. In the year 1929, Robert Van de Graaff designed a machine which produces a large amount of electrostatic potential difference up to several million watt, the 10 power 7 V. This Van de Graaff generator works on the principle of electrostatic induction and action at points. A large hollow spherical conductor is fixed on the insulating stand as on the figure. A pulley B is mounted at the center of the hollow sphere and another pulley C is fixed at the bottom. A belt made up of insulating materials like silk or rubber runs over both pulleys. The pulley C is driven continuously by the electric motor. Two comb-shaped metallic conductors E and D are fixed near the pulleys. The comb D is maintained at a positive potential of 10 power 4 volt by a power supply. The upper comb E is connected to the inner side of the hollow metal sphere. Due to the high electric field near comb D, air between the belt and comb D gets ionized. The positive charges are pushed towards the belt and negative charges are attracted towards the comb D. The positive charges strike to the belt and move up. When the positive charges reach the comb E, a large amount of negative and positive charges are induced on either side of comb E due to electrostatic induction. As a result, the positive charges are pushed away from the comb E and they reach the outer surface of the sphere. Since the sphere is conductor, the positive charges are distributed uniformly on the outer surface of the hollow sphere. At the same time, the negative charges nullify the positive charges in the belt due to corona discharge before it passes over the pulley. When the belt descends, it has almost no net charge. At the bottom, it again gains a large positive charge. The belt goes up and delivers the positive charges to the outer surface of the sphere. So the high voltage produced in this Van de Graaff generator is used to extract positive ions for nuclear disintegration and other application. Okay students, today topic is over. Today's homework. So 5 mark questions. Calculate the electric field due to a dipole on its axial line and equatorial plane. Derive an expression for the torque experienced by a dipole due to uniform electric field. Next, derive an expression for electrostatic potential due to point charge. Next one, derive an expression for electrostatic potential due to an electric dipole. Next, obtain an expression for potential energy due to a collection of 3 point charges which are separated by finite distance. Last one, derive an expression for electrostatic potential energy of the dipole in a uniform electric field. Students, watch this video again and again and get ready to read well this question and answers. I have given you homework. Read and understand the questions and answers and then write the answers 3 times in your classwork note. Students, read and write the questions with answers thoroughly. After writing, send me the answers to my WhatsApp. Thank you students. God bless you.